Welcome back to the program. You're watching Daybreak on this 10th day of June 2019. My name is Wahiga Mwaura.
And my name is Zinzi Kibiku. Thank you so much for sticking with Citizen TV.
Let me tell you, we have so much lined up for you. Let's get straight into it right now. We start with news regarding national carrier Kenya Airways, which is holding its annual general meeting this morning at its headquarters right here in Nairobi. And our reporter Faisal Ahmed is on location to give us more on this. Top of the list of shareholders should be the news of the CEO Sebastian Mikoz resignation as the airline struggles to go back to profitability. Right. So, Faisal, if we could link up with Faisal right now. Faisal, it's good to see you this morning. So, we're talking about the issue that, one, the CEO had resigned just within the course of this year. The company the last financial year reported losses. What are we expecting this time round?
Thank you very much, Zinzi and Wahiga, back in studio. As you've rightfully mentioned, top of the list of what the shareholders would be asking the management of the airline is why the CEO is resigning a few years after he was appointed to the position, and also way before his contract actually lapses. So many people have speculated it's because the PIIP, the private initiated investment proposal by the airline to take over operations at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, failed to go through after Parliament actually found out that the plan was not viable and would in no way improve the fortunes of the airline. Now, this coming after the airline made another major loss of around 7.5 billion shillings for the year 2018-2019. Now, this coupled with the fact that the CEO would be leaving by December 31st, and also the fact that the airline is still trying to find a footing, or maybe trying to find a way of how they can go back to profitability. These are some of the questions that the shareholders here will be raising and will be asking to the management. And also not forgetting that in October 28th, 2018, last year, they had initiated direct flights between Nairobi and New York City. In their financial statements, the management of the airline stated that the route in itself was not a profitable route, rather a route that they would be using to connect to other destinations within the continent and other parts of the world as well. So these are some of the questions that they'll be raising. Why is the airline not back to profitability after so much time in waiting? The event has already started, and we'll keep you up to date as it continues to develop.
Well, Faisal, despite the negative headlines that have recently been seen regarding that same airline, we know they recently launched new flights. I believe I've seen Rome, Geneva as well, new routes that is rather. What's the thinking behind this, bearing in mind Kenya Airways launch of a new route to New York was supposed to be sort of something that will bolster the airline, but we've seen quite the opposite. They've had to cut back on the number of flights that they have scheduled for that new route. What is the thinking behind launching new routes, while many are wondering, will this enable the airline to get back to profitability?
Okay. Trevor, before those routes were launched, the airline actually did take notice that these are some of the routes that people make connections to after leaving Kenya and maybe landing in London. These are some of the direct routes that they go to immediately after that. So they opted, or rather they saw that this would be a more profitable venture for them if they moved there themselves, if they had direct flights between Nairobi and Rome and Nairobi and Geneva. These are some of the routes that they want to connect directly to in order to reap all the benefits instead of connecting with other flights and code sharing on those particular destinations.